Welcome back. I'm Lily.
The load-in. we hopefully by this time we'll have the logo
We'll get
now.
there. We'll get there.
We will. Thank you so much for joining us. This week we are joined by Dia Hassan, who is a partner with Create Productions.
Yes, thanks.
Production. I knew I was going to get it wrong. I had it written down and I was definitely not going to get it wrong, but I did. Thank you for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
No, you're welcome. So for those that don't know, give a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Dia Hassan. My background is in music for many years. A few years ago, started a company called Create Production with my friend Tom Otten. So we focus on creating digital content, in general for the digital platforms, high impact content for the modern world. So
and you guys have been doing some amazing things because I saw lots of your
try to push the boundaries.
You have. You've got some really high profile clients and brands that you work with. I saw lots of work with Emirates. You've been doing some stuff with Expo. And then most recently you did the Till We Meet Again campaign with Dubai Tourism.
That's right. Yeah, I mean we've been lucky that we've been working in general as an agency with Create Media and Create Production with a lot of big names in the country. But in general, we definitely look at how do we expand and create content that's a bit edgy when it comes to what's going out in the market. The recent one is the Till We Meet Again
which is beautiful. It got really emotional.
But before you roll that out, how did it come to be that you got that brief?
So we are dealing now with DCM on a yearly basis.
Okay.
We sign them as a retainer. Retained. Yeah. So they're a retainer client, and it's part of three basically videos that was going out to the market. The aim was to invite people and to tell people that Dubai is going to be opening up soon, and of course to remind people about the different activities that they can come to Dubai and experience.
Yeah, because these activities are vital to everything to do with the economy and the industry.
So there was the beaches, there was different sides of Dubai that people can come down and experience, and there's going to be another one that's coming out very soon, which would showcase the process of arriving to Dubai. What's the process to the airport as well? So there's going to be a full campaign of videos and content.
How'd you do the content though? With COVID and not being able to go out and shoot, how'd you gather the content?
So at the when it comes to specific video production that's allowed now, you can definitely get that process and go through. It's mainly, I think, events which are still not approved when it comes to...
Soon, we hope we're dying to get back into work. But you mentioned edgier content, and that's something more and more people are requesting these days, because content is king. It's so important in everything now with social media and interaction. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's very true. And there's a lot of, when you were saying that content have opened up and everybody can produce anything and upload it onto social platforms. So being different is very important. And, working with people who are trying to come up with new ways to either create a new animation or a new experience to the piece of content that you're trying to produce, but something that has meaning as well. A lot of content out there just looks cool, but might not deliver a strong value or a strong message. And for us, it's trying to understand why are you producing this piece of content? What's the aim? What's the advantage? Is it an experience? Are you trying to deliver a message? And then marrying those two to try and produce something that's strong. So we always ask a lot of questions before working with people.
Do you find that clients understand that, or you've got to go in and write the brief again?
Sometimes we help them. Yeah, of course. I mean, sometimes we help them to redefine the brief again, and by truly understanding what's going to be the KPIs, right? So why are you paying money to produce this piece of content? So once we try to figure the core reasons, then we try to work around their intention to produce content.
And that's going to be more and more vital these days, because let's face it, money is going to be in short supply, especially once the restrictions start to be lifted even more. And the economies around the world are going to be struggling, but content is something which is quite valuable to brands to be able to re-engage and reinvigorate.
But are you finding that you're starting to do a bit more of a hybrid? Because as you mentioned, and as we know a bit too well, the event industry is sort of overnight. So digital is trying to fill that gap more and more. Clients, that's where they're going. So you're seeing a lot of things with virtual, you're seeing a lot of things with digital, live streams and all that. How are you guys coming and becoming more of a hybrid? Because I'm sure you're opening up what you're doing.
So that's very true. So I think, the hybrid type of content that would work with events in general is the experiential content that you can experience maybe on location. Like we talked a lot about offline, we talked a lot about the augmented reality piece, right? So it's not video content or photo content, but it's merged within things that you can scan and experience. I've had an interesting chat with a friend who is launching this gallery in one of the art sectors in Dubai, and then we were discussing how would it be to walk into a gallery that has no paintings, but then you decide what kind of gallery you want to experience. What if you walk in and the entire experience of a gallery changes from just looking at paintings to audio experience, where you're listening to what's the inspiration of that entire show is like, and maybe connecting with the artist as well. So now you've taken your event from one layered event, which is what's happening in front of you, to an augmented layer. So there's the reality layer, and then there's the augmented layer as well. So there's a lot of innovations and creativity that can go around content, especially when it comes around events. But it's just, taking that one step further, what events are going to look like in the future. So.
Well, that's it. 'Cause I think our industry is definitely going to go through a period of reimagination over the over the next few months, particularly because the restrictions that are in place. How do you see that future? The events landscape, that merger with that technology.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think for me personally, what I loved about looking at the silver lining in the past couple of weeks, what I loved about it is there was new conversations that were being opened up. So I think people are trying to collaborate more than working in silos, and I think that's a very added sort of big value.
It's the future, isn't it? It has to be.
Of course,
it has to be.
Yeah, and in collaboration, new things would appear. If you're just working with your own team, you always produce the same kind of content.
Yeah.
But once you collaborate with other people, you start merging both products together, and that's when new things starts happening. We talked a little bit about creating, an event experience that has augmented reality and content, but also having, a show element. Yeah. So these things only happen when you come together. How do I see the events industry in the future? I mean, there's going to be a lot of, I feel like in general, there's going to be a lot of trust that will need to be given to the public, right? Because some of the public are still a bit skeptical about being outside and mixing. Some of them are just like, they don't care. We're partying, yeah.
It's absolutely free.
There's so much like, I'm going to go to that gig right now.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be a happy medium where you kind of showcase to people that, look, we are taking measures. This is being considered, and you are safe when you come out to experience events at concerts. But at the same time, we're giving the people who are not ready to come out yet the same experience.
The option.
So it's not just about you are here physically, therefore you can only experience the event if you're here, but what are we doing for the people at home?
Yeah.
So
that's vital for sure.
Yeah.
And content is definitely going to play a much bigger role in all of that.
It is, but I just wonder for how long is it going to be the hybrid solution?
I don't see it as only a hybrid.
Or is it going to become more and more part of the scene? Because people are realizing there's so much more innovation there. I
think it will, because digital's here to stay.
But it's like they always have. When the budget is tight, I've always said when your budget is tight, that's when you really get creative. It's when you got a lot of budget that it's easy to be a bit slack. So to me, what's been happening with all of the COVID and all of the sort of restrictions and the safety that we need to do, people are having to get really creative. And I think once we get to that point, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
You won't want, once you've had augmented reality and everything else, you won't want to go back to basics.
I guess on that note as well, it takes people to be bold, to be innovative, and to really think differently. You've seen that much more now with people coming to you with bold ambitions and bold ideas to do different things.
Like you're saying, with limited budgets, people want to reach more eyeballs for a limited amount of money, right? So to be honest, the one thing that I've noticed in the local market is we are advanced and we try to push the envelope, but we're still behind in some areas. Yeah. When you look at the major festivals in Europe or the States, there's always a live element, as in a live broadcast element to 100%. Any of the festivals.
100%.
And I've not seen that happen in any of the festivals here. I mean, we've live streamed Red Fest a couple of years ago, and it was only interviews for the DJs and the artists before stepping on stage. So that was one element. But I'm like, but there's a whole new world that you can monetize when you stream online. And of course the agreement getting the approvals to stream that content online might be a bit more challenging and difficult, but there's a lot of exclusive content that you could produce and curate. Forget about the live performance. What's happening behind the scenes? What's happening backstage?
People want to know.
100%.
People want to know. Yeah. It's an experience that people wish they could have.
Exactly.
And you're giving it to them.
And we know that the majority of people decide in Dubai on the day if they're showing up to an event or not.
That's very true.
So if they're sitting if they're sitting at home and they watch a live stream and they go, hold on a minute, this looks
awesome.
like pretty cool. I'm going. And it changes the perspective, especially if your event is running for more than one day. So you've got day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1, people are skeptical. They watch the live stream. Day 2, they're there.
People in.
So there's value in creating that live digital experience.
Well, you talked about that. It's the storytelling, the behind the scenes. I think that's also quite vital, and it adds a lot more value to clients now because clients are looking for that whole experience where they can then share that on their social media channels.
There's a value add. There's what makes you different. Okay, there's a concert, but what makes a difference is the experience that you have.
And the story.
Is what's going on behind. Yeah. It's the stories that you have. Like, when you go to a concert, you do sometimes wonder, what did the person, the guy standing on stage, what's going on in his head when he's sitting backstage? All of that, the crew that did all the work.
Of course.
I have Taco who wants to get involved. Sorry. Our third co-host. Down. But yeah, so I think it's fantastic where it's going, and what you're talking about, I think, is only scratching the surface.
Of course,
and it's fantastic to see you guys actually stepping out already. As you said, pushing the boundaries.
That's it. Like, we definitely need to start pushing that.
Right?
I mean, we have to, because we're in a very interesting situation right now because we've been forced into this position where we now have the ability to start being bold and to start taking risks, calculated risks, of course, but to start really pushing the envelope and doing something different.
And it's a great time for clients.
100%.
This is the time where they'll do it. This is the time where they'll do it, because they don't have the option anymore to go, vanilla.
Yeah.
So now they get that chance. And you guys, and I think for the event industry and digital industry, it's a great time to be able to say, what, here's something I've been wanting to really bring to life. And find the client that will do it.
Yeah.
And I think the chances of that happening are much higher.
Yeah. So there's perspective. I feel like it's the right time to conceptualize new experiences rather than wait for a brief to come in. And that's something that we've noticed, especially in the downtime. It's if you're just sitting around and waiting for a new brief to show up, it's going to be a long time. But if you're coming up with new concepts, saying, hey guys, this would add value to your brand, this is how we see you guys getting integrated, and it's literally like holding their hands and showing them the way. Because a lot of people are a bit scared to advertise as well.
We're scared and also don't know how to do it. We've had conversations with clients over the last few weeks, and it's like, the model's now shifting to this digital side, and they're all talking about this whole virtual world, but they don't really know how to do it.
But it's not just that. Virtual is the only word that's coming off anyone's lips, because most clients' lips, because that's all they know.
Yeah.
They haven't been shown any other options. Yeah. So now that you guys are out there and the creative world is like really stepping up, clients are going to be wanting more than just simply saying, give me virtual. Give me that virtual solution.
And back to that hybrid solution, it's a way to regain the trust, right? So that might not be the final destination, but that's a way to start getting people out of their comfort zones and showing them that there's a safe, secure way to host new types of events that you've never seen before. So that's going to be interesting, because you're not just telling them that you're coming back to the same experience, but you're coming over to check out something new. Yeah. So that's an interesting way to.
I think we need to sign up with these guys.
We definitely do. We need to start collaborating. We're going to be working together. We're going to be collaborating. So I'm not too sure if you can tell us what's going to be happening in the future. But what stuff are you guys working on? Is there anything exciting?
To be honest, we see. We've been again super fortunate to be able to represent DCM with their content, and being able to put together these pieces that will invite the world back to Dubai, back to our home city.
We want
of course, of course, and it's something that we're super proud about, and there's going to be a lot more content that's going to be around that topic, trying to push Dubai as a destination again when things open up, of course. And I think that's good. That's at the moment the major focus that we have, whether it's the conversations we're having with Emirates, whether it's conversations we're having with DCM. It's around that same topic at the moment.
Well, we're sort of lucky, aren't we? At least with Dubai, there's a lot more space to do social distancing.
Yes.
But as a destination, especially from a tourism perspective, if you look at New York versus Dubai, what would you pick?
Of course. And it's well prepared right now with the sanitization programs, with everything else. It's if somebody's planning on coming to visit Dubai, they should feel safe and secure.
And that's where you guys come in, because you need to amplify that message and get it out to the masses and get it out to the rest of the world.
And it's a collaboration between all industries, right? It's not the content industry or just the DCM. I think we're all involved in re-inviting people back to the city, whether throwing up events that people watch their live streams and go, actually, I really want to experience this. Yeah. That invites more people to come down.
Whilst knowing that it's safe and that they're going to be looked after.
Yeah. And I think that's why the digital element plays a big role, because we're reaching people who are not even in the country. Yeah. So that's a big part of making people feel like things go back to not the new normal, but a kind of a positive
world.
Of course,
a better world.
A new reimagined world. So.
A reimagined world, a more creative world.
I absolutely hate the word new normal.
Which is why we're not going to end on that note.
No, we need to make it. What was it you just said?
A creative new world.
A creative new world.
Let's do it.
That's cool.
Dia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you on our
Thank you for inviting me.
podcast. Last time I saw you guys properly was when you were performing back in your Juliana Down days.
Maybe another performance soon.
I know, bring it on. We could live stream it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.